In other news, Emmanuel Macron isn't ruling out sending European troops to Ukraine. The French president left the suggestion on the table during a conference on Monday at the Elysee Palace. Now, the gathering was intended to demonstrate continued Western support to Kyiv. European leaders also used the occasion to agree to ramp up efforts to get arms to Ukraine.
There is no consensus today to send ground troops in an official, endorsed and sanctioned manner, but in dynamic terms, nothing should be ruled out. We will do whatever it takes to ensure that Russia cannot win this war.
Emmanuel Macron speaking there. We can now bring in our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley. Angela, good afternoon. One after another, we've had some European states coming out and saying, no, not us. But we also had a reaction coming from Moscow saying that if we had NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine, this would be an escalation.
Yes. Jens Stoltenberg has also come out very clearly and said there will be no NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine. That would require the unanimous agreement of all NATO members. That is not going to happen. That will not happen. What what Emmanuel Macron is referring to is possible bilateral agreements where individual countries will agree to send troops. As you say, a number of them have already ruled out that possibility. Joe Biden said right at the outset of this war, American troops are not going to Ukraine. They will not go to Ukraine. And given the difficulties Washington is having in getting that $60 billion worth of aid through Congress, it would be a massively unpopular move in an election year. That is pretty much almost certainly unlikely to happen. Macron has said very clearly, I maintain a position of strategic ambiguity, and so not ruling it in, not talking about how likely it might be. We haven't heard specifically from the United Kingdom yet. That is another possibility. They might come out with a statement shortly. A group of countries which are meeting today, the Visegrad countries, that's Hungary, Slovakia, Poland and the Czech Republic. They're meeting. Now, that is a little group of 4 Central European countries which hoped to have common interests and to be able to lobby other EU members on and other NATO members on various issues. In reality, it is a group which has often had fault lines, and a major fault line has emerged on this issue within the Visegrad members. Of course, Orban has been fairly complimentary about Putin on many occasions. The Slovakian leader has questioned Ukraine's sovereignty and is generally a very slow, unwilling supporter of efforts to support Ukraine. On the other side, you have Poland and the Czech Republic, which feel very, very threatened by Russia. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of their meeting later today. But so far, we don't know what might emerge from this. It's a statement from Macron intended to, in a sense, blur the lines a little.
Clearly, that was one of the bombshells that came out from Macron's mouth on Monday. What else came out of this meeting which the Elysee hosted?
One significant area where there is also movement, and again, there will be a discussion, a coalition of countries will talk about moving this forward, and that is the issue of long-range missiles. Again, there is a great fear of using long-range missiles, Ukraine using European or NATO long-range missiles, which might penetrate Russian territory, and would that be seen by Russia as a major escalation? That is now being actively considered. Again, France and Britain are keen on that. Germany has already ruled it out. Germany has a very different, of course, military past to consider, and it's a step too far. Olaf Scholz has already said on numerous occasions. So their Taurus long-range missiles will not be going to Ukraine. Another area where we saw movement is Macron has now dropped his opposition to artillery being procured only from within the European Union. That was something he was hoping to do. He was hoping at the same time to build up Europe's own defence capacities. The reality is European Union countries cannot manufacture artillery quickly enough, and the Ukrainians have been having to ration supplies to their soldiers. Yesterday's meeting was very much about a realization that if Russia wins, the consequences for Europe could be extremely serious, and a realization among these countries, the 25 or so countries that attended, that they have dithered too much. They have frequently ruled out options only to rule them back in much later on, and the delays have caused huge problems for Ukraine. This is that group of countries stepping up.